Hey creative stampers, it's me, Kristina Reese, back with you, another episode of Creating with Kristina. And today I thought I would share with you three of the very basic things every beginning card maker needs to know. And I chose this topic because a lot of us are staying home right now, and we've been encouraging you all to make cards and send cards, especially to the frontline workers, hospitals and fire departments and police, also nursing homes, things like that. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to share with you how to make a very simple basic card and everything you need to know. So let me switch to this camera here. First of all, we need to start with the basics. The basics are paper, ink, and stamps. That's it. So paper, ink, and stamps. All right. So there's our basics, okay? And that's got a glare on it, sorry. But there's a little bit more to it than just that. Let me start back with the paper part. And as you go to get supplies, you'll notice, and you can't see on the camera, but this is much thinner white cardstock than this. You can hear the difference. So let me, that and, well, maybe you can't. I don't know. Anyways. This is 110 pounds. This is only 80 pounds. The 110 pound cardstock is what we call base cardstock. This is what you're going to use to make your base, okay? And you can either cut it in half, what the kids call hamburger style, or you can cut it in half hot dog style, all right? Either way will make a perfect A2 size card, or the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card, which is the traditional size card. In my case, we're going to need one of the basic tools you'll need is a paper cutter, okay, a paper trimmer, and mine is actually a dual tool. It has both a cutting blade and a scoring blade, and you will want a scoring board. Like I said, mine has both, which saves me money. So if you want both, you can ask me where I get mine from. All right, there we go. And I'm going to cut it hamburger style. So the 11-inch side of my paper, let me get back in the camera here. There you go. My 11-inch side of my paper is butted up against the back of my cutting. And I put a little piece of tape here to remind me this is my cutting blade. And this down here is my scoring blade, as you never want to cut when you mean to score. All right, so now I have two card bases. All right, we're going to put this extra one to the side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come in on the 8 1/2 inch side, and halfway is 4 1/4. And now I'm going to take, whoops, get my blade out of the way and get my scoring tool, and I'm going to score. All right, and basically what that is, see if you guys can, yeah, there you go, you can see the score line, okay, and that just helps it to fold in half much better. Now, another tool, basic tool you'll want, and I'll put a list in my, on my blog. I will make a blog post that goes with this video, and I will make a nice list for you all so you don't have to write all this down. All right, and then the bone folder just makes this a nice crisp edge, okay, so that it lies flat. And we have that done. So that's my bone folder, my paper trimmer, which I'm going to keep out for just a minute because I need to cut these papers also. But I just want to show you we have our basic card base, and it's a nice sturdy cardstock. It's 110 pounds. All right, next, I like having a color, this is going to be an extremely basic card. It's going to have two layers, a colored layer and a white layer. The white layer will have the stamping on it. So my colored layer, I want to have just a little bit of the white showing, just 1/8 inch. So I'm going to cut my paper at 4 inches by 5 1/4. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. And 4 inches right there, and turn it to 5 1/4. All right, now I have my first, this is what I call my first layer, okay, and that's just going to fit on there with just a little bit of the white showing. Oh, you know what else I forgot? Comments. There we go, live comments. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, so that's that part. Now for the stamping part, and this is lighter white page here. I want it even a little smaller. So I want more of the purple showing. So on here, notice I only have about 1/8 of an inch. I would like 1/4 inch showing here. So I know that this is 4 inches all the way across. So if I go in 1/4 inch on both sides, it'd be 1/2 inch. So I'm going at 3.5. All right, 3.5. And then turn it. And we were at 5 1/4. Now we're at 3 3/4. I mean 4 3/4. Sorry about that. 4 3/4. Okay, and now what that will do is that will give me a nice, some good color showing. All right, see how that goes right there? Really pretty. All right, let's put all this extra cardstock, and of course, I have a system for saving all of my cardstock. I can show that to you another time, but right now I'm just going to put it behind me. I'm also finished with my scoring and my trimmer, so I'm going to put that back out of my way. Okay, so this was paper. Next thing is ink. Now there are 2 different kinds of inks out there. There are water-based inks, and this Mementos is a water-based ink, and there are solvent or alcohol-based inks, and this StazOn is an alcohol solvent base. Why do we need 2 different kinds? Because we have different ways of coloring our images. These are, whoops, there they are. These are watercolor pencils. Watercolor pencils, you want an alcohol base stamp to go with it. That way, when you're coloring and you get water to color your picture, the water doesn't mess up the alcohol ink outline. All right, water and alcohol don't mix. So therefore, if you would rather color with alcohol markers, which I absolutely adore because I can blend easier and they come in so many fun colors, then I'll want a water-based ink. All right, and we're going to use these 2 today. But that is your ink. You need either a water base if you're coloring with alcohol, or you need an alcohol ink if you're going to color with watercolor. All right, so that's that. And then the last thing you need to decide on is your stamps. Now, what I say on stamps is you want, for beginners, you want to make sure you get a stamp set that has not only an image, but also a sentiment. Because if you don't, then you'll be buying 2 stamps. You'll have to buy, you see this really pretty image, you go, oh, I love those crocuses, but it didn't have any, let's say it didn't have any sentiments. Well, then you'd have to go find a stamp set to go with your images. So beginners, go ahead and find a stamp set that has both images and sentiments together. The other thing you'll need to decide is what kind of cards do you want to make? Do you want to make birthday cards? Then get a birthday card stamp. If you want to make thank you cards. There's even stamp sets out there that are like all occasion. So it'll have the birthday, the thank you, the hope you get well, all in one stamp set. Those are very good for beginners. But I wanted to make an Easter card, so I decided on this Easter card set. Now, the next thing you need to know is there are 2 different kinds of stamps in this world. There are red rubber stamps like this one, okay? And then there are also photopolymer stamps. And what I mean by photopolymer or clear stamps, let me grab a clear stamp. Here we go, this is a clear stamp. You can see through them. So, yeah, they're nice because you can see through them, so it's nice for layering. If you were like the mane of this lion, you'd stamp the mane on there and you could see where you were stamping. So that's the benefit of the clear photopolymer stamps. But the red rubber stamps are very good too because you can get a lot of detail. I don't know if you can see all those itty bitty crocuses in there, but yeah, lots of detail. We're going to use this large crocus, and I just opened this stamp set, and so I kind of have to put it together real quick. Sorry about that. I wasn't Wasn't that prepared for this video. Try to be. Who do we have on here? Oh, hi, Kayla. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Kathy. Hello, everybody. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves. All right, so we're putting the backing on this stamp. Okay. All right, so there's my crocus, and then I want my Happy Easter stamp. So that's all I'm going to put on this card for you guys. So I'll just do these two real quick. The other thing about red rubber versus the clear, the red rubber, let me pull this up here, has a foam mat behind it. The clear ones do not. So therefore, you need to buy a separate, a piercing pad, a foam mat to stamp on, so that you don't get any, well, like let's say the surface you're stamping on might have a gap, you might have like a scratch in it or something, and that gap, the ink won't stick there. So you want to make sure that when you're stamping with those clear stamps that you get a foam pad of some kind, a piercing pad or a foam rubber mat or something like that. Okay, now I got my stamps together. The next thing you'll need are what we call blocks. Now, the basic size block, this one here, but 2.5 by 2.5, 3 by 3, will get most, okay, where's my camera? There it is. We'll get most stamps. You have this longer diagonal for like long skinny strips or whatever. So instead of having to buy all of them, or you could just buy a stamp positioning tool that you can use. Let me show you what a stamp positioning tool is. This is a stamp positioning tool. So you just use this for every size stamp, okay? And you stick the stamp on there, and then you close it down on the paper. So that's a stamp positioning tool. Whoops. They're kind of sticky. All right, but I'm just using the D block here and my paper. All right, so I've got my paper and I've got my ink. So, and remember, I'm using the water-based black ink to do my, whoa, is that going to fit on there? I hope so. Here I said that's all you need. Yeah, it's going to fit on there fine. Okay, and ink it up. Oops. Okay, and we're just gonna, I'm gonna kind of do it at an angle, I think. I think that's pretty. All right, there we go. We're just gonna press down and up. Perfect. Oh, one more thing you'll need is a stamp cleaner. There are quite a few little items to buy in the beginning. There really are. But once you have them, you have them. You don't have to buy them again. The only thing you ever have to buy more of is paper, adhesive, and ink. And ink, you don't even have to buy that much over and over again because, like I said, ink pads don't run out very easily and pens don't run out, but they do eventually. Okay, and then here's the Happy Easter part. I'm going to try to get this lined up pretty easily. Grid paper is something nice to have. You don't have to have that, though. That's not all that necessary. There we go. Okay, perfect. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh. Okay. Now, this stamp cleaner is just a wet sponge. I call it the magic sponge because it just takes the ink right off of the stamp. See, there's no ink anymore. It's right on the sponge. All right, and I'm just going to leave these to the side. And it's time to color. So here are my colors. And when I color with alcohol markers, I start with my lighter color first, and I color the whole image with the lighter color. So I just come in here, and I just color the whole thing. And I did get the color that matches the paper, so that's another nice thing. If you stay with one company's product, all the colors always match. So this is this particular color is Purple Posy, I believe, and so the paper's called Purple Posy, and the ink is called Purple Posy. and I know they match. Okay. Ooh, my hand's a little shaky. Hey there, Kathy Brown from Missouri. Hello there. I think I said hello earlier. I just now saw that it said from Missouri. Wow, fun. Fun, fun, fun. The other nice thing about alcohol markers is they do not streak like water-based markers do. When you go back and forth, you don't see the lines. The alcohol just kind of mixes, blends together. It's pretty neat. Okay, so I'm almost done with the purple. All right, now I go back with where shadows will be. So I know there's going to be some shadows back here under this petal. Okay. And some shadow back here behind this petal. Kind of down in the center along the folds of the petals. Okay, and then same here, this back petal would be kind of shaded in this petal. So wherever, you know, you would think you'd see a shadow, you would use the darker color. Okay. And once I get the shadow parts put in, then I can go back with my light one, and where the two colors meet, I will go in a circular motion and kind of blend that. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And of course, the drawing shows you these little fold marks. That would probably be shadowing. So, all right, now that I've got all that, then I go back with the light one, and like I said, where the two colors meet, I just kind of blend it together. So that is why I love alcohol coloring. It's just really simple. It's light, dark, light, and you're all done. And you really can't mess up. And it always looks beautiful. All right, next thing is I have the light and the dark of this color. So that's the dark one. This is the light one. This I don't really have like shadowing per se, but like, I don't know if you can tell back here, this blade has got two sections to it. So like I'm gonna do one half of it in this light green, the light, and I'm gonna do the other half in the darker. And then the one flower stem that's in the back, I'll make it with the darker shade. Okay. Whoops, not sure what I did there. And okay. Okay, all right, so the stems are all colored now. So there we have the top. Now we just need to put our card together. The next tool that you're going to need to decide on are adhesives. Now we have liquid adhesive, we have tape runners, and we have foam dots or dimensionals. So I like, when I have a big card like this that I just want to lay flat on my base, then I just like to use liquid glue. And I just do a real quick, just a thin line, not very much at all. And as long as you have cardstock, a thicker paper, it won't warp it. Now if you're using a thin designer paper here, you would want to use a tape runner because the liquid glue would kind of warp it a little bit. So depending on the thickness of your layer, because some people like to use the fancy designer paper back here. All right, got that. And now this. Now this one I would like to kind of raise up a little bit. So I'm going to use what I call dimensionals or pop dots. And instead, because this is a fairly big piece, I'm not going to fill it up with all the dots. I like to save the outside border like that, and I can just place that on there. That's a little wide, so I'm just going to take my snips and just cut these in the corner here, and then I can just use the different sections. All right, so this one right there. Okay, and then this one right there. Oops, okay. And actually, let's snip this in two. There we go. We'll have one there and one there. Oh, and we probably would like a little in the middle, so I'll just take this last little piece here and put that in the middle. All right, so now we have this foam tape. So it's just double-sided foam tape, that's all it is. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's not very thick at all. You don't want it too thick. This is another thing beginning card makers need to know, that the post office, if your card thickness is more than 1/4 of an inch, it won't go through the scanning machines, and they charge you extra postage. So be careful of that. Make sure that the thickness of your card, whoops, like that, is no more than 1/4 inch. And as long as you only do one layer dimensional, you're good. You're good. There we go. Hey, what do you think? We did it. We made a pretty little Easter card. Yay! And so easy. Okay, let me wrap up real quick. So the first thing is you want to start with your basics. That's the paper, the ink, and the stamps. The second thing you need to remember are your basic tools. Your basic tools, let me repeat, is a paper trimmer and a scoreboard. Now my paper trimmer has a scorer on it. My paper trimmer also pops out. Let's see, I've got it. Yeah, that's right. It pops out. Come on. Oh, it's hard to do when it's like in my hand. There we go. So the arm pops out. I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but I can go all the way to 17 inches on this paper trimmer. That's pretty nice. And this paper trimmer is also nice because, let me put that back in there, it goes to 6 inches here. So many of our cards are cut at 5.5, and it is so frustrating when the trimmer you buy stops at 4 or stops at 5, and the 5.5 is like where all the mechanisms come together for the arm to pull out, and you can't really tell exactly where 5.5 is. So you want when you get a paper trimmer, remember your main measurements for card cutting are 5.5 and 4.25. All right, so 5.5, 4.25. Those are your main cutting dimensions. So basic tools: paper trimmer and scoreboard. You will also want a bone folder. You will also need adhesives. There are tape runners, which I didn't use a tape runner today. There's liquid glue, and there's foam, double-sided foam tape. So there's that, adhesives. And then one last thing is the stamp cleaner. Well, actually, it's not the last thing. The stamp cleaner and the block. So these are tools that you will need no matter what kind of cards you make, all right? So inks and colors, that kind of varies. Stamp sets, of course, vary depending on what kind of stamp you want. And paper all varies depending on what colors you like. So, but every beginning card maker has to have at least this much. This maybe not. This, you could clean your stamps off just with a wash rag and water. You could do that. So, all right. Third point that I wanted to point out to you is for a beginning card maker is please, and I'm going to turn my face back, please do not try to buy the whole store. There's so much out there. Oh my gosh. There are die cuts. You need a die cutting machine to use die cuts. There are punches. There are different, like if you want to punch a circle, like if on this card, if I wanted to punch the crocus out in a circle, I need the circle that fit this crocus. So you'd need different size punches. There's bling, sequins and rhinestones, and there's ribbon. There's all kinds of bling and extra stuff you can put on. The colors. You could buy a lot of colors. You could buy all the colors in that the company has at once, or just whichever colors you want to start with and then build on your supply as you make more cards, okay? So for this Easter card, you would only need purple and black. And the next time you make a card, you may want to add some green in there. Build on to your supplies. Don't try to buy it all at once. All right, with that, what else did I want to tell you guys? If you found this video helpful, you may also find my weekly newsletter helpful. Every week I give a card tutorial with full explanation of how to make the card. Also, if you go to my YouTube channel under the playlist, you can check and see all the different kind of videos that I have made, and you might find some more interesting information there too. All right, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are staying safe and healthy. Go make a card and send it out and cheer up somebody's day. Bye-bye.